I'm hot. Beautiful, gorgeous, stunning, whatever word you want to use. I'm not gonna lie. I like it when people look at me. I like the attention. I live for it. Especially from men. I know why they're looking at me. I'm not stupid. And honestly, I don't care why, I just know they are, and that makes me so happy. I don't see why you think there's a problem. Why you think I need to examine this, look at the reasons why I feel like this. I'm just paying attention to the obvious. They stare at me everywhere. On the subway, in Starbucks, on the street at work, even the elevators. I see men pretending to be looking at the changing floor numbers, but I can see from the corner of their eye that they're really staring at me. It's like a reflex. I feel like I'm famous just by walking down the street. Like a celebrity. I admit it. I own it. That's why I go out. Because I know men will look at me. It's easy. All I have to do is put on a dress and some eyeliner, walk out of my building, and I know I'll get attention. I like knowing that a man's thoughts leave his head the minute he sees me. His past and his future don't matter. He's trapped in that moment. I like knowing that a man can be deeply engaged in a business conversation, but the minute I walk past him, he loses his train of thought and has to look at me, whether he wants to or not. I can't help it. I mean, let's be fair. It's not entirely their fault. I did read a book called Survival of the Prettiest, which said that men are biologically programmed to appreciate beauty. It's not exactly my fault either. I mean, men look at me. I don't ask them to, they just do. It works out perfectly for both of us. We conspire with each other. The more attention they give me, the more I crave it. I become addicted to that first moment our eyes meet. It's like falling in love. Then when we start talking, it's boring. It's like... then they might get to know me, and who knows what'll happen then. You want to know how I define myself? I mean, I define myself first and foremost as pretty. Have you ever had something come really easy to you? Like, for example, you grew up playing soccer, and everyone tells you over and over again that you're a born athlete until one day, it just becomes a part of who you are. A part you can't live without. Well, that's sort of how pretty is for me. Since I was about 13, I can remember the way men looked at me. My teacher, Mr. Parks, used to make me sit in the front row, and whenever he would call on me, he'd have this smirk on his face. My mother would always say, "Look in the mirror, honey. You can have anyone you want." Listen. It's my looks that make anything possible, and now my father thinks that I need to change the way I think. I really just don't know why he's sending me here. I guess I see why. He thinks there's a problem. It's an addiction, and addictions aren't healthy. But, I mean, some people are addicted to alcohol, or food, or drugs, or to cleaning. I like attention from strangers. I think I'm just being normal. Well, because let's be honest here, look around you. Don't all women want to be beautiful? Oh, come on. And why do they spend hours putting makeup on in the morning like a mask, like a ton of makeup? Even in 100-degree weather? Why do they wear 4-inch heels in Manhattan? It's not like they live in the suburbs and are walking to their cars. I'm talking about professional women, like doctors and lawyers and investment bankers wearing those sexy suits with the low-cut blouses. What's that about? I mean, I know this gorgeous woman who has 2 degrees, and I'm not talking about an art degree or an English degree. She has a law degree and a PhD. And she speaks 5 languages. And even she, when she goes out at night, she dresses really sexy and speaks like Marilyn Monroe because she thinks that's what men want. It starts really young. Do you know that show, Tots and Tiaras? 3-year-olds in beauty pageants, and you think I have a problem? What about this? When Eleanor Roosevelt was asked if she had any regrets, she said she wished she'd been prettier. Do you think my life would be better if I was ignored? Like maybe if I were uglier, I wouldn't have this problem? Pretty is just what I'm used to. It's always the first word my dad uses to describe me. I can hear him saying it now. I have a gorgeous daughter. Sometimes he could use the word smart, but it's always after pretty. And I guess I just never wanted to, I guess I just always wanted to live up to that expectation, and I think I just became really comfortable with that. Okay. You want to know the first time I got high from being looked at? I was probably around 14, and I was wearing this black dress with a zipper that went right down the front, and this boy stared directly at me. I had his undivided attention, and that made me feel so powerful. I don't know. I guess you could say I was an outsider. None of the girls at schools liked me. Maybe they were jealous. So I liked attention from boys. It made me feel important. This is the way I look at it. There's so much in my life I can't control, but when a stranger looks at me, it's just a reminder of who I am. And for a minute, I don't have to worry about anything, and I can breathe again. Maybe I seem crazy. I know. If you haven't experienced it, it's hard to understand.